Hello, I'm Carol, coming to you from North Devon in the UK. Thank you for coming back to my channel, Crafting with Kazienne. Today I'm going to look at some of my blankets. I thought you might like to have a look at what I've crocheted recently. And first of all, what am I wearing? This is called Adriatic, and it was in the Knitter magazine, issue number 97. Now this is a classic case of, I bought this yarn in a charity shop. It's Rowan Tapestry, so it was a good quality yarn, but they only had 7 or 8 balls of it, and I looked for over a year for a pattern that I wanted to knit that would just take that amount of yarn, because you couldn't really knit a jumper with it. And then I found this one, and I actually used 7 balls of 50 grams of yarn, and I thought, well, really, I'm knitting it just to get rid of the yarn, because when am I ever going to wear a short sleeve jumper in this sort of heavy-ish furry wool, because it's either going to be too cold to have my arms bare or too hot to wear the thick wool. But actually it is so useful because I layer it over my Primark skinny rib jumpers, and it is perfect, so perfect. It just keeps me snug, and it doesn't itch because I've always got a jumper underneath it, and it was a really good knit actually. And this here, this is called it's got like a rib at the top and a rib at the bottom, and in the middle bit it's all just stocking stitch. And this is called the Sock Head Cowl by Kelly McClure, and this was a souvenir yarn when I went to Canada. This is Ancient Arts Fibre Crafts Fingering, but they was doing a colourway that looked like cats, and so much from each scheme was going to go to a cat rehoming charity. And as I just got my little rescue cat Maisie, I thought, oh, I'll get the tortoise shell one. So and again, this is really cozy to wear. It's really merino wool, so it's really soft, it's not a bit itchy, and it was one of those makes where you just sit in a car and it's just stocking it, so it's really simple to do. Anyway, should we go on to my crochet blankets? This was one of the first blankets that I made, and I bought this yarn in the 80s to make, it was white Aran yarn, and I was going to make this jumper that I'd seen in a 1980s Vogue magazine, and it had the most amazing cable motif in a sort of a heart shape on the front of the garment. And I struggled through this, and I did it, and then when I looked, one of the cables was going under instead of over, or over instead of under, and I thought, oh, the whole thing was ruined. So I just sort of chucked that to one side, and I never used the rest of the yarn. So what I did was, in my stash busting mode, I undid what I'd made, and I then dyed the yarn. Now this is all using natural dyes, apart from the logwood. This is logwood, and you get like logwood chips, so all the purple is logwood, and it, depending on which bath, whether it's the first bath or the second bath, and some of the colour's gone out of it, it depends on the depth of the purple colour. And the yellow, the yellow was onion skins, and the brownie ones were things like ivy, excuse me, ivy and other plants in the garden. Actually, some of the yellow was from a Reeb's plant that I had in the garden as well. So that was fun to do. I obviously had to pre-mordant the fibre, and then I dyed it all, and then I skeined it up, and I just joined it up in a continuous sort of lot of fabric and just kept going with a very simple stitch to make this. But being as it's Aran weight, it is quite stiff, but it has got, the laciness gives it some drape, and the wool gives it a lovely weight. Actually, it's quite a nice warm shawl, but I don't use it that much because of the thickness of it. And then I bought a Deramores kit, and this is the Oolong Afternoon Tea blanket. And this has got some pretty colours, and I've got quite a lot of these colours in my stash. I made a blanket out of the remainder of these for my mother-in-law for Christmas, and I've still got some other colours left. But this is nice, it's Deramores DK, it's very soft, quite a nice feel to it, and this is supposed to be a baby blanket for if I ever get a grandchild, you know, if ever that happens. If it doesn't, then it's going to be a lap blanket for the cat. This, in the spirit again of using up stash, I had quite a few fingering weight skeins, 100-gram skeins, and leftover bits and pieces. So I made this corner to corner blanket. They sort of, the colours do blend to some extent. There's some of these I have made socks out of some of them, and there's just been leftovers. Some of these were too itchy to make anything, and they were also quite short in length. It was quite a dense specialist wool, which didn't come up at 400 meters. It was about 320 meters for 100 grams. But I just mixed the whole lot together, and the different weights didn't seem to make much of a difference. I kept going and stopped when I thought I might run out of yarn if I carry on, because bearing in mind you're working it diagonally, so at some point you have to stop and decide when you're going to start going straight. So that was fun to do, and the cat likes this one. It's quite a nice lap blanket size. This is gorgeous. Now, I sort of taught myself crochet with this. It's I really recommend the pattern for teaching yourself new crochet skills. It's the Beachcombing Blanket by Eleanor Tully. She shows you how to do all of it on YouTube, in step by step. I mean, I bought the pattern because I wanted the pattern written down. I wanted something to follow in writing as well, but she does have it on her blog, and she has it on her YouTube channel. Coastal Crochet is a YouTube channel, so I do recommend this. I bought the kit, I think it was cheapest Katona, so I did the cotton version. It is absolutely gorgeous. I don't tend to use it to cover myself because it's cotton, so it's sort of cool, very weighty, but it's cool to touch. And I don't really want the cat sitting on it because of the white cotton, but it's absolutely stunning. And there are so many new techniques in there. For example, going all around the post stitches. Look at this, it's so clever. Making like a lifeguard ring. And these are all the little buoys. It's just such a beautiful design, and the colours are stunning. Oh, so beachy and lovely. And the edging was lovely too. Oh yeah, this is good. So it's a little ammonite shell. That's quite a nice one in the middle. Yeah, so that is, oh yeah, I just love the little bobbles on it. The little orange, which are worth the time and effort to do. Yeah, so that was a really lovely blanket. I'm so pleased I made that. And this is my latest blanket. It's the Upcycle Blanket by Sarah Huntingdon. From Simply Crochet 105 issue, and this is like they had like an eco supplement to try and have ideas for upcycling and things. And this, so I took 2 jumpers for this. I had a very itchy and short in the body Benetton jumper that someone gave me. I think they'd got it from a charity shop. And an H&M jumper which I'd worn to death. So I cut them both up. You have to edge round like I did zigzag stitch on my sewing machine around all the squares to stop them from fraying. But I've got quite a lot of this one left with a couple of Benetton, so I might do a different colourway which is more blue rather than the pinks and the greens. But again, this was a good way of using up leftover yarn. And this, the yarn I used to join all the squares is actually a really itchy yarn. One of these sort of, it come from the Faroe Islands, and it's beautiful and all beautifully hand dyed, but very rustic. But it's ideal just for joining because you don't feel the intensity of it. So this is it, look, it's a lovely size. I did 45 jumper squares and 45 of the little granny squares in the middle. And I did a bit of extra on the edge as well to make it a bit more substantial, the border. No, I'm really pleased with that, and that is really cosy on my lap of an evening as well. So it does get used, this one. And the fact it's upcycled, it makes you want to use it. You know, you just think, oh yeah, good. So that's all I had to talk about today, my blankets. I'm going to start doing some crochet samples, I think, from a book I've got. So I might show you some of them next time, or I might just show you some of my whips next time. But anyway, I hope you're just enjoying looking at all the things I'm making. So lovely to see you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.